John Gregor Lynn, deputy is yours. Mr. Lynn,
Sir?
got a ticket issued to you charging failure to drive to the right of center. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
What is your plea?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Any person that's going to testify on this stand, raise your right hand. Listen carefully. Raise your right hand. Do each of you solemnly promise or declare under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you shall give here today or statements that you shall make shall be the truth? If you so promise, you have to state "I do" out loud.
I do. I do.
Have a seat. State your name, current assignment, and facts that you have personal knowledge of with reference to the citation issued to Mr. Lynn.
Cecil County Sheriff's Department Patrol Division. Your Honor, on November the 19th, 2005, at about 2:45 a.m., I was in patrol in the area of Melbourne Boulevard and Route 40. I observed two vehicles pulling out of the village of Elkton onto Melbourne Boulevard, traveling southbound in a northbound lane. It's a two-way road divided by a small median. They pulled out and drove the wrong way, basically down the road. The vehicle came to the...
Wait a minute, I'm trying to visualize now. They came out of the village of Elkton. Just wait a minute, you'll get your chance in a minute. Came out of the village of Elkton.
Yes, sir.
Onto Melbourne Boulevard?
Yes, sir.
And which did they turn?
They turned immediately into the northbound lane driving southbound. There's a small median there, and it's a two-lane road.
Turned into the northbound lane. Okay, so they went across the median.
They failed to go across the median. They turned immediately onto Melbourne instead of going across to the proper lane.
Okay, well that's what I'm trying to figure out. The closest lane would be southbound, right?
That would be the northbound lane.
The village of Elkton. I'm trying to think where we are.
Where Food Line is, Your Honor, and I think there's a Blockbuster in there.
They were coming, okay, from the other side. I got you now. Okay, so they were coming toward Elkton proper when they were in the village of Elkton.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and when they came out of there, did what?
They traveled...
they turned to the right or to the left?
They turned to the left, traveling southbound.
Okay, toward Route 40?
Yes, sir.
Before they got across the median?
Right, they didn't go...
There's a median there. They didn't go across the median and go down the other side.
Right.
They went down the wrong side.
Right.
Okay.
And the roadway's divided by a small, probably about 3-foot median strip.
Okay.
The defendant was operating a 2001 Pontiac. He traveled down the roadway to the red light. I guess when they got to the red light, they realized they were on the wrong side. He crossed over the median to trip the red light. He sat there for a while and crossed over.
Okay.
Stopped the vehicle, identified the operator of the vehicle as the defendant seated to my left.
Okay.
Issued a citation for failure to drive right in the center. Or events occurred in Elkton, Cecil County, Maryland.
Okay. Mr. Lynn, do you want to ask any questions of the officer?
No questions?
Okay. Do you wish to testify and tell me anything about what happened?
Yes, sir. If it pleases the court, I have a satellite photo of the entire area taken from Google Maps.
Okay.
I also have maps that are not so much proportionate visually, but I do have measurements that I took this morning.
Right.
And photographs of what the driver would see upon making this left out of the, what I would say rather confusing shopping center, which I've been to twice in the last 2 years, being a working musician at the establishment Slackers Irish Pub.
Okay.
In this, may I approach the bench with the photos, or
give it to the bailiff.
Page 1 is the satellite photo. Page 2 the subsequent pages is a map that I made on the computer involving how the cars traveled. Might the record show the median strip is not 3 feet, but it's 36 feet? 36 feet wide. At 2:30 in the morning and not lit with any street lights at all, it is easily confused to be... Also, the road is also 22 feet wide, which is twice the length of a standard one-lane road. So, at 2:30 in the morning with no light, one cannot actually see the correct one-way. And also, there are no one-way signs, there are no do not enters, and there are no wrong-way signs either. So I'm merely contesting the confusing nature of the hour and the situation involved.
Need you to stand, please.
Yes, sir.
Court's convinced the defendant's not guilty on this.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Court's convinced that this is what is in the motor vehicle code defined to be a divided highway. The section the defendant's charged with is a section that deals solely with a roadway that's got a line on it. 21.311, driving on divided highways. On any divided highway, a vehicle may be driven only, and I mean, there's no center lines or anything. This isn't a question of, going across a center line. 21.311 is really, the situation that possibly would apply to this defendant. Vehicle may only be driven on the right-hand roadway on a divided highway, unless directed or permitted to use another roadway by traffic control device or police officer. Vehicle may not be driven over, across, or within the dividing space barriers section except unless specifically prohibited by public authority through an opening in the space barrier section at a crossover intersection, and a vehicle may not be driven on a median strip unless permitted to do so by the public authority. Doesn't that sound pretty much like his situation?
Your Honor, I was under the impression that 21.301 was the right gap of the roadway when required, and it seemed to me that the right gap of the roadway would be required in this situation.
It doesn't apply. It does not apply on 21. Does not apply to divided highways. It doesn't apply to divided highways. 21.301. There's, it's been to the Court of Appeals. Case of Kirshner versus State, 21 Maryland Appellate, 2579. This section, 21.301, has no applicability to divided or dual highways. There's a Court of Appeals case on it. I can read that, and I can read the language and tell that it doesn't apply for his situation. But when I look through the annotations, the issue's been to the appellate courts in the state of Maryland, and they've said that it doesn't apply. It doesn't apply, period. It does not apply to divided highways. It doesn't. So anyway, court finds the defendant not guilty on this.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.